30 years ago, most Americans thought the drug war was kicking down the doors of users. Producer-director Michael Mann knew the bigger battle was global, the decay and corruption of territories and countries into narco-states, facilitated by the money laundering arteries pumping the lifeblood through the system, international money laundering both above and underground, and drug lords waging chemical warfare against the least advanced American citizens for profit. Michael helped millions see that truth, producing the story of American DEA agent Kiki Camarena, tortured and killed for fighting that war.
There was little public awareness of the crime and no awareness. Our members of Congress, and were it not for Michael and for his initiative, that message never would have gotten across to the general public.
Well, this era of DEA was the most dangerous time for a DEA agent in the field. And with the drugs came gigantic amounts of money, and together that equaled violence. Michael got it. He had this ability to just keep digging. In fact, I think that if you left him on his own, he'd end up in China.
Michael was invested in the story emotionally, I think, and he was driven to tell that story of those men who worked down there. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, you send cops down to manage a drug area and build cases, and they're not allowed to carry sidearms. And yet the bad guys all have guns. Michael's approach was so attentive to the reality and to detail of that time and place and the conditions that these men operated.
Michael Mann's films and miniseries touched millions, revealing the truth about drugs, the DEA, and law enforcement.
His intellectual honesty as a storyteller. He wouldn't sacrifice his integrity for his own movie. This is very rare in any person. That wasn't Michael Mann. He would never sacrifice his integrity for his own movie. And I had the honor of working with Michael on Heat. He was extremely interested in our trade craft, but he then meshed that into his trade craft, which was, okay, I'm going to take De Niro and I'm going to take that whole gang of bank robbers and I'm going to send them into a bank in which the bank is not going to know who they are, and they have to go in and case that bank for real. And it was one of those moments when I realized, this guy is a madman. I mean, and he made them do it.
And sometimes sending your lead actor to meet an actual drug dealer undercover.
So that's why Michael said, Stephen, if you're up for it, maybe we can put you in a room with some bad guys. In a first meet in order to set up a drug buy. And of course, once it got out, somebody, started hearing about it, and everybody went crazy, including NBC. And they said, there's no way you're gonna do this. No way. You're gonna put an actor in a situation that could get him killed. And somehow we did it anyway. And they told me right before it happened, they said, "Oh, Stephen, by the way, we're gonna be locked and loaded. So if something goes down, we're gonna get into the room and just duck." They just hit the floor because we don't know. We may not know who the good guys are and the bad guys are. I said, "Oh, wow. Oh, wow!" And they said, and they gave me a gun. They gave me a sidearm. But it's not loaded. And I said, well, it's not loaded. Well, what's the point? They go, well, we want them to know that you're carrying.
Michael saw not only the importance of the mission of the Drug Enforcement Administration, but he saw and understood the culture of the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Michael's truth-telling helped DEA break through the congressional funding fog and help the nation understand DEA's mission.
After Michael's a miniseries came out, Recruitment Soared. That also gave us better support from Congress, which in turn gave us funding, allowed us to hire more people, and we got support from the president as well.
The Kiki Camarena story started that conversation. Michael's production honored with awards and an audience that saw the deadly chemical war waged from outside our nation.
That's what Michael really gave us. He gave us a shield. And when we captured the bad guys, and they all said the same thing, we now understand that DEA is an authentic lethal weapon when triggered, and it is not worth it to go after the agent in the field. That's what Michael gave us. He gave us a shield.
Michael presented his film at the National Archives, and the film moved not only me, but the personnel of the Drug Enforcement Administration who were in attendance. For the first time, we saw that we had an advocate with national and international responsibility, and this advocate was willing to take our mission and to create a film showing this mission, this commitment. And for this, the Drug Enforcement Administration will always welcome him as a member of the family. Michael, indeed, is family to DEA.
Michael's impact on the DEA began with the Camarena story, but it continues today.
We take for granted that there's a drug epidemic, there's a drug addiction epidemic. Right now, the opiate epidemic. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael took that on next. You know, I would love to see a movie about the generation that is lost in drug addiction right now in this country. And that's the perfect subject matter for Mike. I'd go anywhere with him.